Hello again, everyone. I'm Charles Gross,
I am your guest host, Miriam Gross.
and today we are going to review that cult classic musical.
Heathers. Heathers is a dark musical comedy. The story of Veronica Sawyer, a nobody loser who, through her forgery skills, is able to sort of bribe her way into the popular clique at school. And Veronica is played by Lorna Courtney, who we saw in & Juliet, and I thought she was good, although I didn't love & Juliet as a whole. And I do really like her in Heathers. I think she puts an interesting spin on Veronica. The Heathers, who are the color coded for your convenience mean girls, are run by Heather Chandler in red, and she rules the school with an iron fist. And Veronica comes to find that popularity comes at a cost. We saw an understudy for Heather Chandler, who was played by Sarah Al-Bazali in our production.
Right, and this adds another chapter to our inclusive casting because this Heather, this Queen Bee, is a brunette. So another barrier has been broken and
Yes,
crossed,
and
whatever. And she's
quite
really
aside
good,
from that,
really good in the role.
she was very excellent. There were a few times when I feel like she kind of was copying what she's seen others do, but overall, I thought she was great as Heather.
We also should mention this Heather is killed off very early in the game, but she's kind of sitting from, I guess, heaven, just watching and having a really good time watching the social fabric of the school come apart without her to rule it.
Yes. Then enter, or a little before that, enter Baudelaire quoting badass Jason Dean, aka JD, who's the new kid in town and the object of Veronica's affections. But JD has a dark side, and when they end up semi accidentally killing Heather Chandler, they fake her suicide to get away with it. But the thing is, a lot of good seems to come out of Heather's suicide, and JD wants to take it further, while Veronica wants to stop with the murder.
I like Casey Likes here. We saw him in Back to the Future
He was excellent in
and
that.
Almost Famous. He's a rising star and definitely rising further here. He comes in, he's wearing this raincoat, and he's got this
French coat.
Fonzie-like cool about him. Except for the fact that he's a psychopathic murderer, he's a pretty good guy. Sort of.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Casey Likes' take on the character. I think he played it in a very specific way that I think is really relevant to the world we live in 2025. Because the original Heathers, it came out in the 80s. It was before Columbine, before school shootings were ever even a thing to be thought of. And in 2014, that had changed a little with Sandy Hook when the original Broadway came out. But the way Ryan McCartan played it was very different. He was sort of that 2014-esque adorkable, quirky boy with a bad boy with a heart of gold type of vibe. Whereas Likes plays it a little more like the sort of school shooter character that we've unfortunately come to know in the cultural zeitgeist. It really brings the performance forward for the modern era.
Kerry Butler is also in the show as this hippy-dippy teacher who tries and, well, despite
She
herself, may succeed.
tries.
Yeah, she tries and ends up making a fool of herself. I like
Making
Kerry
things
Butler, but
worse.
I can't say that I found the character annoying, quite frankly.
I'm
And
right there. She
it's
is
quite a
supposed
few
to be
people
annoying.
on and off stage, I think. It's a dark comedy, a little too dark. It did not gel for me. I was put off by the killings. The whole idea of it
I
just
think also
was a little too
you're not exactly the target audience for the
well.
play.
I was when the movie came out.
And the movie's even darker.
Yeah.
But yeah, It's not everybody's cup of tea,
So
Heathers.
it certainly was not mine, although there were many corn nuts, as Heather's fanatics are called, and I guess you fall into that category, who were in the theater. They were cheering. I think they had their points that they knew were coming, so they were all ready. And when they came, they just let their enthusiasm
Yeah,
go. The score is decent, and I was so happy to be able to finally actually hear lyrics for a change, which is becoming
been a
a
big
really
problem
big
recently.
problem in the theater. In addition to the performers we mentioned, there is Erin Morton as Veronica's best friend. She has a 11 o'clock number where she tries to commit suicide. She's good. The number falls flat. There's also Xavier McKinnon and Cade Ostmeyer as the aforementioned jocks who supposedly committed suicide. And since they died in their underwear, that's how they have to tramp around on stage for the rest of the play from wherever they're looking down from.
Considering how hot stage lights are, they might have gotten off easy with that.
Well, I'm sure there were plenty of female members of the audience and perhaps a few male members who enjoyed the sight. But all in all, I can say Heather's was my cup of tea. And on a 1 to 5 playbill basis, I can only give it 2.75. A lot of the numbers fell flat. The theme simply did not work for me.
I have to say, I completely disagree. I think the themes in Heather are very relatable, even if not to the extreme they take them to. And I think that's part of what makes it so relatable is because it shows such an extreme, you can kind of see yourself reflected, especially for a young person. And I was like around that age when I first discovered Heather's. So I have a special place in my heart for it. I happen to
You're
really
certainly
love
not alone.
I happen to really love a lot of the music. There are some numbers where I'm like, I could take it or leave it, but songs like Dead Girl Walking and Meant to Be Yours are real standouts to me. So I would overall give it 4 out of 5 playbills. As long as there's a good cast, you're really not going to catch me finding a production of Heather's I don't like.
Well, there is certainly a good cast here.
Yes, that I think is really the biggest strength of the show.
And that is our show for today. When you go to the theater, look for us too.
On the aisle.